Alright, so today we're reviewing Troublemaker Crozet. Not a very popular hero by any means. I'm probably one of the few people who actually enjoy using him, and I enjoy using him a lot. If you've been subscribed to this channel, I know you have because it's the best channel, then you know that from the beginning I've been using him in Guild Wars very often, although I stopped using him a little bit just because I didn't want you guys to get bored of me spamming Troublemaker. But let's go over his abilities. So, his S1, very basic tank move because of damage scales based on his health, and has a 20% chance to stun, but it actually has 40% chance at max mola, and if you soul burn, it goes to 100%. So I have a funny story about this. One time, back in the day before draws, I got stuck in a fight against Angelica, so I autoed until I had like 9 souls, and I stunned her like nine times in a row and killed her. And it was hilarious because I was actually shocked that she didn't actually resist any of them. But it was funny just watching Troublemaker stun lock someone to death. Now, like many MLs, his best move is his second move, so Chivalry. Basically, it has a 40% damage mitigation for the person in the back row at max mola, and if that person in the back gets attacked, he has a 35% chance to counterattack, 50% if you have the exclusive equipment. And then his S3 it's amazing. It's like you Clorox a person because basically it dispels all debuffs from Troublemaker and one ally and then applies defense buff for 3 turns. And on top of that, if it's a thief, warrior, ranger, or mage, it increases critical hit resistance. And for knights and soul weavers, it gives them a pretty thick barrier. And they call this class enhancement. But this is a great reset button against things like dizzies or bazaars or anything that applies unbuffable, because it removes the unbuffable and then still applies these buffs and the defense buff. So one thing to know about his S2 is this hero, the one bad thing about him is he requires molas, because look at his at level 1, his S2 is useless because it's the same thing as a maxed Aureus, and almost everyone is a maxed Aureus, and it doesn't stack. You can't stack Chivalry and Aureus. Remember, all damage sharing does not stack. You can't protect SSB with this or stack Aureus with this. If you do have an Aureus on the team, it'll work on the other members, but not on the one in the back. So let's go over how to build them. Alright, so this is how I choose to build my Troublemaker. Now, obviously, as a tank, you're usually going to want health. Mine probably has health a little on the low end because I opted to go for 130 effect resist because I really want him to not get stunned or whatever so that he can use his S3 and cleanse someone. So mine's kind of slow, only 140 speed. He has very slow base speed, but he's reasonably tanky, and he has a lot of effect resist. If you don't care about the effect resist, get rid of it, get it to 0, and you could dump all those stats into health and defense and make him even tankier. I have him on Adamant Shield. Again, his passive and Aureus do not stack, so Adamant Shield does stack with damage sharing abilities, so these two work together. In terms of exclusive equipment, I opted for this one because the 40% combat readiness boost is insane. The second one replaces that with a heal, but I'd rather have the combat readiness boost. And the first one is plus 15% extra chance to counter if someone in the back row is attacked. I don't really like to rely on that, so I think that's the worst one. Pick either the second or the third one, but I think the third one is the best. So basically how you use him is he's really good against cleave teams, actually, especially if you have ML Ken, because basically you just make the person in the back unkillable, especially when you combine it with this. So you can actually use him with stall teams too, because he makes the person in the back literally unkillable. The downside to this is people attacking Troublemaker, if they have a brain, they'll know that the easy win strategy is to kill Troublemaker first. But if you make a proper stall team and your Troublemaker is really tanky, that's easier said than done. So that's basically how you use him. I'll show you how to use him on offense, by using a clip from my ML Ken video, actually, where I 2v4'd an arena team by just using Troublemaker to protect ML Ken and suicide himself. But that's really the best way to use Troublemaker. Make the back row unkillable to let whatever DPS you choose to go in the back to do all the work and clean everyone out while Troublemaker protects him. So let's go ahead and watch that clip. Alright guys, so let's see what Troublemaker does in Arena. I'm going to attack this triple ML5 Bazaar comp with Champ Zerato and Troublemaker. And what he does is pretty simple. He doesn't really do anything. He just mitigates damage to the backline, but he mitigates it a crap ton. So let's see if we can make any magic happen with this super powerful two-man comp of ML4s versus 3 ML5s. So, Champ Zerato immediately starts countering. Look at that. Troublemaker went and countered that Bazaar. Ooh, and Troublemaker's continuing to counter people. Now, their Champ Zerato starts getting to work on my Champ Zerato. Let's send that back. Uh-oh. Their ML Ken goes. Doesn't debuff my Champ Zerato, unfortunately. This is actually kind of scary. Because I'm going to get double countered here. Let's see if Troublemaker can make him survive this. So Troublemaker drops dead there. But he made Champ Zerato survive that initial burst. So let's see if my Champ Zerato can now solo this. Finish this Bazaar. Alright. So it's kind of working out. And there we go. Now my Champ Zerato and his Champ Zerato are in a counter war. But looks like mine wins out. So there we go. Troublemaker 2v4 success. Honestly, that was more of a freaking Champ Zerato showcase there, but it worked out. Like, you'll notice that he was able to survive that initial onslaught because of Troublemaker. Without it, there's a good chance he would have died, although, you know, that was just ridiculous. Let's try another one. Alright, let's try that again, this time with ML Ken against this Arbiter ML Ken Seaside Dizzy team. So, let's see if we can survive this burst. Dizzy goes first. ML Ken has immunity. Start countering. And notice that my ML Ken didn't take that much damage, but Troublemaker is soaking it all up. So he's taking big damage, but his only job is to keep ML Ken alive, and he's doing that nicely right now. Finishes the Arbiter Vildred. Now Seaside goes. Now Troublemaker's probably dead here, but again, the only thing he was supposed to do here was mitigate damage. And we get a counter stun, which is very helpful. Crits my ML Ken. Dizzy tries to push back. If we crit ML Ken, it'll kill him. If it doesn't crit, we don't get countered, so win-win. ML Ken S3s. We crit their ML Ken, so he dies. And now, because we were able to survive that initial burst, thanks to Troublemaker, ML Ken's just gonna slowly solo this out. And that's the power of Troublemaker. He doesn't really do anything that crazy. Like, his S3 is good and all. It definitely helps with survivability. But the main thing he does is just make your backline extremely tanky. I mean, Arbiter, ML Ken, Seaside, he just tanked through all of it. And that's the main thing. Troublemaker's S2 passive is the largest damage mitigation in the game you can get basically consistently. It's twice the strength of Aureus. It is huge. So that's the main purpose of him in PvP, to make your backline basically impenetrable. And remember, he also counters people if you try to attack him. Alright guys, so in conclusion, is Troublemaker good? Yeah, he's fine. He's not like God tier or anything. If you have him, he's definitely not a must build. I mean, He's definitely not on the top list of knights you have to have, like Crow, Fallen CC, things like that, Lilius. But he's a solid pocket pick. His S2 is the biggest damage mitigation in the game from a passive, and he makes your backline impossible to kill. And his S3 is also extremely strong against certain heroes, like especially debuff heavy comps, allowing him to cleanse himself and another person of all debuffs. Like they could have 20 debuffs, it's going to cleanse them all and give them increased defense and a barrier or critical hit resistance. Like it's a huge thing. So, I mean, he's definitely useful in certain situations, but not all situations. So he's definitely not a hero that is mandatory. He's not someone that you can bring to every single comp and have an immediate impact. For example, if they have like a slow, grindy team and they're not particularly interested in even going for your backline, that damage mitigation doesn't really count for much anyway. It really helps more if you have a squishy DPS in the back that you're really trying to protect, and that DPS is a really big threat. An example is he would pair very well with Charles, because Charles does huge damage, and you want to kill him, but you can't if Troublemaker's guarding him. So in terms of ratings, I would say Arena Offense, I'd give him a B. I mean, on it, like clearly you saw that he could do some interesting things with like 2v4ing teams, but honestly, like that's usually not the best strategy anyway. Just bring 4 freaking people. Arena Defense, I'd give him like a C. I mean, honestly, the AI is so stupid that all you have to do against Troublemaker defenses is kill Troublemaker first. Guild Wars Offense, I would give him a solid A. If you watched my earlier Guild Wars videos, you know I used him extensively with ML Ken to make ML Ken unkillable and slowly grind teams down. But it does make the matches slow and boring, so I'm going to give him an A in Guild Wars Offense. In Guild Wars Defense, I give him like a B+. Like I said, he's okay in certain niche comps. Like if you want to pair him with Charles, that's pretty scary because he makes him tanky and can cleanse. If you want to do like Troublemaker, Charles, and Soul Weaver, or even like a third damage threat like Cameron, that would be a pretty scary defense, to be honest. RTA, I'm going to give him a B+ as well. I have seen him occasionally as a pocket pick, especially with like Ruel stall teams. If you have to deal with a Ruel protected by Troublemaker, basically that Ruel is impossible to kill until you kill Troublemaker. And of course with Ruel's giant burst heals, that makes it really hard to go for Troublemaker as well. So Ruel Troublemaker, great RTA combo, very annoying. Yeah, so in RTA I give him like a B+. So basically that's my Troublemaker review. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I've probably used Troublemaker the most out of any of the YouTubers out there. I think the general perception of him is pretty bad in the YouTuber community. I think he's decent, but definitely not S tier or anything like that, so don't feel bad if you don't have him. Anyways, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more hero reviews. Let me know who you want reviewed next. If I have the hero built, I'll try my best. And thanks for watching. Till next time, guys. Peace out.